The topic we're discussing today is a mystery that marked the beginning of what many consider urban legends, namely the Men in Black theory. On June 21 of the year 1947, Harold Dahl, along with his son and a dog, was in a boat in Puget Sound near Maury Island in the state of Washington. Everything seemed perfectly calm, and nothing indicated that a typical boating trip could take such a tragic turn, which began with the sighting of a patrol of 6 UFOs with the classic donut shape. The unsuspecting witnesses had the objects above their heads, and material detached from one of the aircraft crashed onto the boat, killing the dog and injuring the son. After some time, the news was spread by the press, and Kenneth Arnold was tasked with handling the case for a subsequent journalistic investigation to be carried out by Ray Palmer, the editor of a magazine of the time that focused on UFOs. Arnold managed to approach Mr. Dahl, but the latter was very reluctant to provide further details about what had happened. Only after repeated attempts did he admit to having received a strange visit from unknown individuals dressed entirely in black who had strongly urged him not to disclose any details of the incident to anyone who inquired. Intrigued, Arnold decided to delve deeper into this strange story and contacted 2 officers from Hamilton Field Air Base, Captain William Davidson and Lieutenant Frank Brown. Not only did they obtain more details from Mr. Dahl, but they also came into possession of some of the material that had struck the boat. It was a blackish and quite substantial substance. Carefully preserving the alien remnants in a box, they departed for Hamilton Field aboard a B-25. However, the unsettling circumstances surrounding the Maury Island case were not yet over. The plane caught fire during the flight for reasons still unknown and crashed to the ground, dispersing the alien debris. This was the first case directly involving the Men in Black with suspicions of their interference. In 1952, a research group exclusively dedicated to UFO investigations was established. The founder was Albert K. Bender, and the association quickly gained overwhelming success and great notoriety. The group continued its work and research with enthusiasm until all activities were suddenly suspended without explanation. Prompted by journalists several times, Bender later confessed to having been contacted by 3 men in black who revealed terrible truths about the activities of UFOs and their purposes, turning his life into a long, terrible nightmare. But who are these men in black? The first hypothesis concerns the conspiracy of silence. The mysterious men in black would actually be agents of government forces, or at least parts of them, involved in a mysterious pact with the aliens. The purpose of their disinformation and evidence sabotage actions would be to conceal terrible truths such as the trade in human organs and genetic manipulations against humans. Another theory views the Men in Black as actual aliens with the task of keeping their infiltration into key positions in our civilization as a secret. This action is believed to have been ongoing for years and to have already reached unimaginable levels. This theory was embraced by none other than Bender himself, who in 1962 published a book on the subject, breaking his voluntary silence due to the events of the 1950s. Among the many revelations, it was claimed that the Men in Black were actually representatives of a sinister alien race from a planet called Kasich. There are, however, many doubts about this revelation, including the fact that the book itself appeared more as a commercial operation driven by the author's not-so-brilliant economic condition. A final reference to the Men in Black as terrible aliens or alien creations was spread by 2 American ufologists, John Lear, a former pilot who passed away in 2022, and Milton David Cooper, a Navy official who disappeared in 2001. According to these 2 researchers, everything can be traced back to a secret and parallel government to the current one, born solely with the purpose of turning Earth into an alien colony. They claim that both alien creatures and human traitors to their own race work tirelessly toward this goal. Genetic manipulations take place at 2 secret bases in New Mexico and Nevada, and androids specially trained to mislead and cover up all existing evidence are the result of these experiments. These androids are the Men in Black. But is there a direct relationship between the Man in Black and the authorities? Many people who, unknowingly in pursuit of research, have become involved with the UFO phenomenon have witnessed events directly connected to aliens and have either disappeared or, in the worst cases, died under mysterious circumstances. A study conducted by the late John Keel found that these mysterious and tragic events usually occur within a time frame of 6 months to 2 years after the occurrence of the events, leaving no trace and defying any valid explanation from the investigating authorities. An example is Waveney Girvan, the founder of the Flying Saucer Review, a well-known English publication on UFO-related issues. He died under mysterious circumstances, and the night after his death, all his archives were stolen. To get an accurate sense of the phenomenon, it's enough to mention the article number 72 of the Saucer Review, which reported the results of a survey specifically conducted regarding these recently born incidents. The statistics showed 137 deaths in accidents of people in some way connected to the UFO phenomenon. This statistic can likely be tripled in today's time. Minister James Forrestal established the first serious ufological study commission, received dossiers produced by the work of various researchers, and inexplicably jumped out of a window. Canadian Wilbert Smith and Brazilian Lava Fontes analyzed the fragments of a crashed UFO, and both died under mysterious circumstances. Frank Edwards hosted a UFO program with an audience of around 13 million listeners. Suddenly suspended, he published his collections and died suddenly in 1967. Roberto Pinati, an Italian journalist and ufologist, reports on the article number 211 of the Giornale dei Misteri, The Theory of John Lear, who carried out missions on behalf of the CIA, and was also the son of William Lear, a former Senate candidate for the state of Nevada. Pinati explains that, according to John Lear's theory, extraterrestrials would perform a series of biological control experiments on abducted subjects by inserting a 3mm device through the nasal cavity into the brain to imprint post-hypnotic suggestions and carry out specific activities for a period ranging from 2 to 15 years. They would kill some subjects to use their bodies as a source of specific biological material, especially food. They would also eliminate individuals who pose a threat to the continuation of their activities for the Greys. They would conduct genetic engineering experiments, fertilize human females, and shorten pregnancies to ensure the creatures born from the crossbreeding of the two races. According to this theory, the Men in Black would carry out a disinformation and censorship program to cover their infiltration into key centers of political power and hide their monstrous experiments with Earth's inhabitants. In this regard, Pinati, in an interesting article titled "The Man Who Knew Too Much," writes that, according to Bender, the Men in Black were, in fact, extraterrestrial beings operating on Earth. Bender's extraterrestrials were not cosmic brothers concerned about the future and eager to help and save us from self-destruction. On the contrary, they presented themselves as emissaries of a true alien operational structure among us, with far from altruistic intentions. After seeing them as they truly were, Bender describes them as quite similar to the so-called Flatwoods Monster, with a series of rather unpleasant side effects. Pierluigi Sandinini writes, "In America, more rational witnesses presume that the black-suited men who visited them were part of the Air Force security staff. Truth be told, in about half of the cases, both in the United States and the United Kingdom, the Men in Black would have tried to convince the witnesses of their institutional identity, but no government organization has ever confirmed that these strange visitors were their agents." There is yet another hypothesis about the Men in Black. Here's what Pierluigi Sandinini further narrates about it. Between 1965 and 1967, there was a new wave of Men in Black activity in the United States. John Keel wrote extensively about it in his books Operation Trojan Horse and The Mothman Prophecies. In many cities in Ohio and West Virginia, strange lights and alien entities were seen in alarming numbers, as well as visits from Men in Black. Mr. Keel himself confesses to nighttime encounters with these entities. He developed his own somewhat heretical view, suggesting that these visitors were not aliens on spaceships, but rather demonic manifestations. For those who are not yet satisfied with the recent events and proposed hypotheses, here is yet another mystery to add to the many that remain insufficiently explained. One of the most convincing accounts occurred in the spring of 2009 at the Sheraton Hotel on the Niagara Falls shores. surveillance footage recorded the entry of two alleged men in black into the hotel. According to an investigation conducted by the Phenomenal Investigation Team, a UFO research organization based in Washington, D.C., the alleged men in black entered the hotel on May 15 of the year 2009 and asked to see the general manager, who, along with a colleague working in hotel security, had witnessed a triangle-shaped UFO flying slowly and silently over the building 7 months earlier, on the night of October 14 of the year 2008. The mystery of the men in black is not so much in determining their existence, but rather in who they really are and what dark purposes they may have.